Yo, what's good? It's your boy, Conscious Coon Killer, killing the coon within me and the coon within you. Now, I'm gonna just go ahead and get into this real quick. As you know, I'll be doing these little late videos and stuff like that before I go to bed and all that good stuff. Just giving my thoughts on this whole Harriet Tubman movie, its controversy and just everything surrounding it. I'm gonna just get into it. I ain't got a lot of energy, but I'm gonna just try to kick it in. Honestly, I think that this movie is a complete disrespect to Harriet Tubman and her spirit and her legacy. Right off the bat, in my opinion, Harriet Tubman is one of, if not the greatest individual human being in American history, period. And the fact that you had this black director, this black woman named Cassie Lemons or Lemming, something to that effect, direct this movie and put this bullshit out here. First and foremost, I know a lot of people got a problem with Cynthia Evero. If I'm pronouncing her name right, probably messing it up. Irivo or something like this. I'm just call Cynthia E because I don't want to fuck her last name up. Her not being ADOS, a generational Black American, as I say. She, I believe, is a British Nigerian or something to that effect. A black woman that grew up in England, I believe, but she's of Nigerian descent or something to that effect, right? Um, it's not so much for me personally that I got an issue with that, even though I would have much rather seen Viola Davis or some other generational Black American play her. But on top of her not being ADOS, she a few years back was out here mocking generational Black Americans, talking about, oh, I'm gonna talk in my ghetto voice, blah blah blah. Obviously targeting generational Black Americans, ADOS, right? And now all of a sudden she's playing one of our heroes, right? And I'm not saying that this can't be Black people's hero as far as Black people worldwide, but if you're gonna sit up here and disrespect ADOS, understand you are disrespecting people like Harriet Tubman, people like Nat Turner, so on and so forth, right? So you got this movie with Cynthia E out here looking scared, looking confused, bucking her eyes and shit, all this type of stuff. If you look at the photos from Harriet Tubman throughout her life, she looked like a G. She looked serious and focused the whole time, even after she left the plantation. You know what I'm saying? After she got, she was all done going back and forth, helping to free other black people out of the physical bondage of slavery, right? Always stay focused far as what, we've seen from these photos. So I got a problem with all of that right off the rip. Now to go back to Cassie Lemons real quick, the director who she's directed some other movies before. This isn't her first time out here making a movie. So this woman makes up a character named Bigger Long, which sounds like a goddamn porno name. Bigger Long, this black man, right? There's no historical record of a black man who was a bounty hunter, aka a slave catcher, that was out here trying to track down Harriet Tubman and stop her from freeing black people from slavery, right? So they made this man up, this black man, who essentially was the villain of the whole fucking movie. A movie about Harriet Tubman escaping from a slave plantation and freeing more black people from the slave plantations, right? So instead of the main villain being white people, white supremacy, things of this nature, you got this white dude who was her slave owner who was in love with her in the movie, right? And he's just all confused because him owning Harriet and all these other black folks was just passed down to him, and he just didn't know any better, and he just loves Harriet so much and all this shit, right? So the black man, Bigger Long, that they decided to name this man, right? Played by Leslie Odom, or Leslie Odom, I believe his name. This man, not only was he trying to kill uh, Cynthia E playing Harriet, right? Or supposedly, it's supposed to be Harriet Tubman, right? But he kills Janelle Monae's character. I believe it was like Mary Buchanan or Maria Buchanan, something like this. The woman who in this movie kind of showed Harriet how to shoot and everything like this. Cool. Showing how to shoot. Just kind of getting into to the game with just guns, shooting, everything like this to take down the oppressors. Not that I'm an advocate for shooting people in general, but when it comes to defending yourself, hey, do what you got to do. I ain't mad at you, right? Um, Bigger Long kills Janelle Monae's character, right? So this black man kills a black woman brutally. The only brutal violence in the movie, not these white motherfuckers, not these white men and white women out here raping and beating down black people. They didn't want to show that because they wanted it to be mostly family friendly, aka they didn't want white folks to feel bad, mainly white children, because they want these white kids and these white people in general to feel like, oh, well, look, it wasn't that bad. My ancestors weren't that bad. My people weren't that bad, even for the white folks that, came over after slavery. It's like, oh, okay, that subconsciously makes them think that, oh, well, shit, what are they bitching about? This is supposed to be the big bad slavery, you know. It's shit. I mean, it looks like the black man was the one out here killing black women and talking about, they had this motherfucker, there's a line, right? This motherfucker talking about something along the lines of, because the white slave owner asked him, "Oh, what do you want to do with the bounty money?" And he's like, "Shit, I want to buy me some white hookers." So you got this dude whose name is Bigger Long, alluding to obviously, uh, his sexual organ. So over sexualizing black men is this big sexual brute who's killing black women and wants to use money for killing black women to buy white hoes. Like they literally created a super coon for this movie about Harriet Tubman, played by a woman who mocked generational black Americans out here looking scared and shit. I don't never remember seeing no photos of Harriet Tubman looking scared. The level of disrespect in this movie, and to know that black people directed this, and were, a lot of black people were in the, the as far as the crew and all of this shit, whether they're ADOS or not. Like this shit, man. Like, yes, it's just a movie, but you got to understand the social conditioning that movies can inflict on people, right? Especially folks that don't know. And it's not even just so much about me worrying what white folks think. I'm more so concerned and disappointed in the black folks who saw this piece of shit out here tweeting how great it was, and oh man, I didn't realize, there was all these great white people that really were just trying to help black folks, and really it's these evil black men out here like Big Along that was trying to stop us. Oh man, further creating this whole division between black men and black women. You got folks out here believing this shit, talking about God and like all just. I'm like, yo, what in the fuck is this piece of shit? Right? Like, yo, it's like I don't even like really have the words or the energy right now, but I just had to get this out. Like that shit is crazy. I advise nobody to see it. If you do, don't spend any money on it. I'm not, you can read between the lines of what I'm saying. Don't spend no money on it if you're gonna go see it. That could mean a plethora of different things. So, you know, take that information the way that you want to take it. If you really want to see it, but I wouldn't waste your fucking time. Um, yeah, man, like, and then people want to try to say that, oh well, you did have black bounty hunters, blah blah blah, back in those times. First of all, a bounty hunter is more somebody in the Wild West, like a cowboy out here trying to take somebody down that's wanted for murder or whatever, and there's a bounty on his head, a certain amount of money to track this person down. And yeah, the first cowboys were black men. But there's a difference between that and a fucking slave catcher. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and say that there were just completely 0% black men or women that were slave catchers, but to act like that was some normal shit for a slave owner to give a black man a fucking gun and say, hey, if you see another black person step outside of the plantation lines, shoot him, right? And to trust that shit, just think about that for a second. Because folks out here trying to defend this whole bigger long character talking about, well, there could have been somebody like him that, no, look, there's no historical record as far as Harriet Tubman's life of some black man out here trying to fucking kill her so we can use the money to get white hookers. And the director herself, she admitted that she made that character up for the goddamn movie. This shit was just a way for them to try to appease white folks. She said herself that she didn't want to show the brutality of slavery. She wanted to show the emotional damage, all that type of stuff. Because understand, it's easier to visually show brutality through physical abuse than it is emotional trauma. I'm not saying that physical trauma is worse than emotional. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying as far as on the TV screen, it's a lot easier and simpler and quicker to display that, right? And it would have been a lot easier for them to get their point across that these motherfuckers are demons. But no, they didn't want to show that shit. They want to have this goddamn pseudo love story or a one-sided love story because Harry wasn't fucking with him. At least they didn't make her a fucking coon in the movie, right? Or at least in that way, right? Um, as far as her falling in love with her slave owner, I'm saying. But the dude talking about, oh, I'm in love with you, all this bullshit. So he kills Bigger Long, the black man, being the white savior in the fucking movie, a slave owner. And the black man essentially really was the villain, killing Janelle Monáe's character and trying to kill Cynthia E. Right? Out here bucking her eyes looking scared and shit. One of, if not our greatest ADOS hero. That movie is complete trash and a complete disrespect to our lineage and to Harriet Tubman and her spirit. Like I said, I would not recommend to go see this movie. I would just want to give my quick thoughts here before I go to bed. But yeah, man, like that shit is some bullshit. Cassie Lemons, you should be ashamed of yourself. Uh, I don't want to harp too much on the actors and shit like that. I get that's their job. That's how they make their money. But god damn, man, like y'all didn't read that script and see that shit and was like, yo, fam, like nah, like either y'all need to change this shit around or I'm not rocking with this shit. Like, come on, man, we gotta be on code more than this, man. That shit's ridiculous, man. Like this was probably outside of the Nat Turner movie, Birth of a Nation, the newer one, not the one from the early 1900s. Besides that, this Harriet Tubman movie was one of the only slave stories that I wanted to see on the big screen. Maybe a Frederick Douglass, story, but Harriet Tubman is that she was the G of G's. I know that sounds funny, but seriously, Harriet Tubman was a motherfucking G, y'all. Like seriously, and like this shit, man. Like really, we don't deserve this shit, and people don't deserve a lot of things. But I honestly don't even like using that word a lot. But for lack of a better term, we don't deserve this shit. Like that shit's crazy as hell to me, man. Like for real, for real. But yeah, I'm gonna get up on out of here though. I just wanted to say that real quick, y'all. But yeah, as always, it's your boy, the Conscious Coon Killer, killing the coon within me and the coon within you, and that's not my Harriet. And I'm out. Peace.